30 days has September, April, June, and November, which means that September is wrapping up, so we have to talk about the upcoming Nintendo Switch games for the month of October. And let me tell you folks, October is jam-packed. Today on the channel, we're going to talk about the 13 biggest Nintendo Switch games for the month of October. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about what games need to be on your radar for Nintendo Switch in the month of October. Kicking things off, we have one of my most anticipated games for the month of October. It is a spooky month, so why not start out with a spooky game? And that, of course, is Ghostbusters Remastered. Now, Ghostbusters originally came out on the Xbox 360, PS3, PS2, and Nintendo Wii. But this is a remastered version of the Xbox 360 version of the game, which many consider to be the third film in the Ghostbusters original franchise. It was written by original cast members. You have Bill Murray, you have Dan Aykroyd. Everyone is here, and the game honestly was absolutely fantastic back in the day, so I'm definitely looking forward to jumping into this game again. If you enjoy the Ghostbusters films, you are absolutely going to love this game if you've never played it before, and even if you have played it before, I think it's worth revisiting again. It's definitely a timeless classic of a game, and I'm super happy to see it being brought back to modern consoles. This will also release on the PS4 and Xbox One, but if you do want a physical edition of this game, you will have to go to your local GameStop in order to pick it up. Ghostbusters hits the Nintendo Switch on October 3rd, and I'm very excited for it. In the 90s, for some reason, people loved FMV games. Seeing full motion video in your video games was a big deal. And Double Switch will be coming to the Nintendo Switch on October 5th, which is one of the most quintessential FMV games of that era. Now, I'm not even saying Double Switch is a good game. It's honestly a pretty weird game. But if you like quirky FMV adventures, it's definitely a game worth checking out. Limited Run actually did a physical edition of this. This is for the digital edition of the game that will be releasing on October 5th, and I actually picked up the physical edition personally. I don't know, FMV games just have that sort of cheese to them. If you like swapping between different panels and capturing people in traps, this is definitely a game for you. If you're a fan of Night Trap, you will like Double Switch when it comes to the Switch on October 5th. Ukulele is quickly becoming a household name, and the next game in the franchise, Ukulele and the Impossible Lair, will be coming to the Nintendo Switch on October 5th. Now, where the original Ukulele was a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, this game is much more reminiscent of a Donkey Kong Country style game, and I think that's a cool thing. There's a lot of 2D segments in this game that definitely look like a Donkey Kong Country-like setting. There are also some gameplay deviations in the game as well that sort of differentiate from the 2D segments. I think the art style of the game looks very nice, and Ukulele are very likable characters, so I think this game will end up being a big hit on the Nintendo Switch. I'm definitely looking forward to checking this game out. I hope there's a good challenge since it is in the style of Donkey Kong Country, and I think we will see that with this game. Ukulele and the Impossible Lair comes out on October 8th, and it's definitely a game that should be on your radar. One of the worst kept secrets in video games was that Overwatch was coming to the Nintendo Switch, and then of course it was unveiled during the last Nintendo Direct. Well, Overwatch will be officially coming to your Nintendo Switch on October 15th. Now, personally, I've never really gotten super into Overwatch. I preferred to play Paladins because, well, Paladins was free, but to downplay the significance of Overwatch in the video game world would be very foolish. It is a huge game in the world of esports, so it's definitely nice to see this game come to the Nintendo Switch. It's a fast-paced game, it's an online multiplayer game, and it's something that I think the Nintendo Switch needs. The more online multiplayer games, the better when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. I think the game itself looks pretty good. There is some controversy over the 30 frames per second, but really it's just sort of something you have to have in your hands and see how it actually plays before I feel writing this game off. I think it's going to be a big hit on the Nintendo Switch. I'm really looking forward to seeing people's reactions to it, and maybe I will end up checking it out since I have played a bunch of Paladins. Overwatch will be hitting the Nintendo Switch on October 15th, and I think it's going to make a big splash. Also coming to the Nintendo Switch on October 15th is arguably one of the biggest games for the Nintendo Switch ever, and I mean that in terms of sheer size. A huge open world adventure starring Geralt, which is of course The Witcher 3. You are trying to find your captured stepdaughter, and basically you go into this huge open world adventure, fight monsters, meet different characters. If you're a fan of games like The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, you're absolutely going to love this game. I think it's an absolute technical marvel that this game is even running on the Nintendo Switch, and all the cool stuff that comes in the physical edition of this game is definitely very awesome. The whole game is available on the cartridge. Yes, folks, they're using a 32GB cartridge in order to make this game work on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing this game. I played The Witcher 2. I never really played The Witcher 3 much, so I'm looking forward to checking this game out, seeing how the performance is on the Nintendo Switch, and just getting lost in this open world adventure. The Witcher 3 hits the Nintendo Switch on October 15th, and I think it's going to be a huge game for the system. Pokemon Pokemon Sword and Shield is hitting the Nintendo Switch in November, but that doesn't mean Game Freak hasn't been working on other projects. Little Town Hero will be coming out on the Nintendo Switch on October 16th and is a new game that comes to us from Game Freak. Now, what's interesting about Little Town Hero is the whole game takes place within a town. Basically, it is an RPG game with some strategic elements to it in which you are basically battling monsters that are coming to overtake your town. I really like the graphical style of this game. I think the game looks absolutely gorgeous, and I'm really curious to see sort of how long this game is. What is the length of it? Is it just going to be a 2 to 3 hour experience, or is it going to be something a bit more meatier? There's a lot of questions surrounding Little Town Hero that are finally going to be answered when it comes out on the Nintendo Switch on October 16th, but I'm definitely looking forward to checking out this game because I think it could be a sleeper hit. Do you like exercising? Well, Nintendo hopes you do, because on October 18th, Ring Fit Adventure is hitting the Nintendo Switch. Now, of course, we got that weird-ass trailer for Ring Fit Adventure with this hula hoop-like thing, and it was like, what the hell is this going to be? And essentially, it is an exercise game that is disguised as an action RPG. You basically do different things on the screen that then mimic what you do with this ring thing, and then you attach something to your leg as well. It's essentially an exercise game, but it is an action RPG game as well. And honestly, I think that's an interesting twist of events when it comes to things. It's not as boring and straightforward as something like Wii Fit was, so maybe people will flock to this. I don't think it's going to be nearly as successful as something like Wii Fit was, but I guess it is somewhat interesting. I don't know if I'm going to pick this up and review it or not. It's just something that's kind of weird and out of left field for me, but maybe I will. Ring Fit Adventure, October 18th. Get off your ass and do some exercising. October 29th has five games that should definitely be on your radar. The first two games are the next games that are in the Resident Evil franchise that are coming to the Nintendo Switch, with Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. Now, Resident Evil 5 is sort of a divisive game, I feel. Some people really love Resident Evil 5. Some people don't like it quite as much because of the co-op aspect, which is very prevalent in this game. It is essentially a co-op game, so if you play it with someone online, you'll probably have more fun than playing with an AI partner. Resident Evil 6, of course, is a game that was pretty critically panned, but honestly, I kind of liked some segments of the game. It's definitely not a good Resident Evil game, but there are some segments that sort of stick out in my mind that make it somewhat a fun game. Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6, of course, are under the Capcom license, so there is terrible pricing with these games. They are going to be available for $30 each, but you can pick up a physical edition that includes Resident Evil 4 on the cartridge, download codes for Resident Evil 5 and 6 for $60. So if you don't have Resident Evil 4, you'll be getting all three games at $20. Or you could just wait for a sale like I probably will, because I don't foresee myself picking up these games at $30 a pop. Maybe Resident Evil 5, but probably not. But Resident Evil 5 and 6 do come to the Nintendo Switch on October 29th, so it is worth noting. The next game I want to talk about is going to be my sleeper hit of the month for the Nintendo Switch, and that is Vampire. Now, Vampire also comes out on October 29th, and I reviewed this game back on the Xbox One last year, and honestly, I really enjoyed this game. You play as a doctor who basically goes in between being a good vampire or a bad vampire. You can help people out, or you can sink your teeth into them and kill them. And everything that you do, every action that you take, actually changes the world around you. So there's a lot of cool story elements in this game, and I really like the gameplay of the game as well. I think it's a really underrated game. It's not a game that a whole hell of a lot of people talked about last year, so I'm hoping that the Nintendo Switch version of the game gives the game a little bit more life, and maybe more people will discover this game. Of course, we have to wonder about the performance of this game, as this was originally an Xbox One and PS4 game, but I'm definitely looking forward to checking out Vampire on the Nintendo Switch when it comes out on October 29th. I'm a man who likes monkeys, I'm a man who likes balls, so Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz on October 29th is a game that I definitely will be checking out. If you've never played a Super Monkey Ball game before, they're essentially puzzle games. You control a monkey in a ball, and your goal is to get to the end of the level. They are very addictive games, very fun games, but this game originally came out on the Nintendo Wii and was somewhat critically panned because the game used only motion controls, which made it sort of hard to get that precise control that you would get with an analog stick. Well, of course, in this HD remaster of the game, they have given you the option to use your analog stick, so the control will be much better. I think this game will be much more critically received than the original release of the game. I absolutely love the Super Monkey Ball franchise, so I'm glad to see this game is coming back, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this game when it comes out on the Nintendo Switch on October 29th. If you were a kid in the 90s, you absolutely loved games like Aladdin and Lion King, and now they are coming to the Nintendo Switch on October 29th with the Aladdin and Lion King double pack. Now, this is something I'm very excited for. When it comes to Aladdin, you have the superior Sega Genesis version of the game. I don't know, there's weird people like Modern Vintage Gamer out there that prefer the SNES version of the game. You don't have a sword in the Super Nintendo version, you have a sword in the Genesis version. I mean, this isn't even a debate, so I'm definitely happy that they used the superior version of Aladdin in this game. On the Lion King side of things, they have the Super Nintendo version of the game, but really, I'm just really looking forward to playing these games again. There's a bunch of different versions of the game as well. There's some Game Boy stuff in there as well, a tech show demo that has never been released to the public. There's all sorts of behind the scenes stuff and artwork. I'm just really looking forward to this compilation, and I'm definitely happy to see Disney is expanding their video game library by doing things like this. I want to see more compilations like this of classic 90s Disney games, because that's when Disney games, I really feel, were at their peak. Aladdin and Lion King will be coming out in a dual pack for $29.99 on October 29th, and I'm very excited for it. I can show you the world. The final game for the month of October is Nintendo's next big game, and that of course is Luigi's Mansion 3 on October 31st, which is also Halloween. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to this game. I think this is going to be one of the best Nintendo Switch games for 2019. I enjoyed the original Luigi's Mansion game. The second game on the 3DS was okay, but I'm definitely glad they've sort of reverted back to the original Luigi's Mansion style. You play as Luigi and capture ghosts on different levels of this hotel, and each level has a theme to it. I think the graphics in this game are absolutely fantastic. I'm super happy that they included the Scare Scraper, which is an online multiplayer mode, and it has now been expanded to 8 players online multiplayer, so I think that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. The game looks absolutely gorgeous, the levels themselves look very, very fun, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing this game. Like I said, I honestly feel like this is going to be one of the best Nintendo Switch releases for 2019, and we finally get to play Luigi's Mansion on October 31st. Alright, so those were 13 of the biggest Nintendo Switch games for the month of October. There are actually games I left off this list. I know Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2 is coming to the Nintendo Switch, but I don't really know anything about Baldur's Gate. I just know a lot of people are excited for that. And of course, there's going to be tons of eShop games as well. So a very packed month for the month of October. So let me know in the comments section down below what games you're looking forward to in the month of October, or what games I might have missed that you are looking forward to in the month of October. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Be sure to check out other videos on the channel, and as always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Later.